respected Secretary General, Hyderabad City Security Council, Shekhar Reddy Garu, and my partner in this program, Ms. Khyati ji, and all the joint secretaries of HCSC and all the secretariat of HCSC and participants in today's Margadarshak volunteer enrollment and inauguration program, and to all the would-be mentors. We have 78 police constable officers sitting right behind you who are going to be the mentors for this Margadarshak program. And I'm very happy to announce that all of them will be parallelly trained. Like you are going to undergo a weekend training schedule, even detailed training program is being designed for the mentors as well. Thank you, Khyati ji, for setting up the tone of the meeting. I'm sure all the participants of today's Margadarshak program are eager to know what is going to happen in this program. Most of the things were covered by Khyati ji, but I will stress upon some very important points. As we all know, women's safety has been a challenge for over thousands of years. It could be since the ancient period. Women were considered the weaker section. Women were considered the one who needs to nurture and care and nothing more than that. But today's world has a completely different scope for women. Women are entering into every kind of job, whether it is army, whether it is navy, whether it is air force, whether it is policing, whether it is, these are considered man's jobs, right? All these days these were considered man's job, but no more. I think women have entered into most of the areas. Such stereotyping has also reduced to a great extent. Then what is the challenge? Challenge is the safety of women. We all know, for example, that we can approach police to address any kind of grievance, whereas we do not want to enter into that arena. Why? Why do we shun away? I think I have very important reasons for that. It could be due to stigma that is associated with a police case. ఈ అమ్మాయితో పెట్టుకుంటే పోలీస్ దాకా తీసుకెళ్తుంది, మన జీవితం అంతా వేస్ట్ అయిపోతుంది అని చెప్పి బ్రాండింగ్ చేయడము అండ్ స్టిగ్మా ఆ అమ్మాయి చుట్టూ క్రియేట్ చేయడము అనేది చాలా కామన్. ఐ హోప్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్ తెలుగు. ప్లీజ్ లెట్ మీ నో ఇఫ్ ఎనీబడి ఈజ్ అన్కంఫర్టబుల్. అండ్ there is a lack of trust in authorities. I think all of you will agree with me on that. There is a huge lack of trust in authorities. The other day, during my speech, I will be adding a few examples that I have faced as a police officer. The other day, a community member of mine came to me and complained that her husband was framed illegally by the police officer into a crime. That one incident is enough for her to advertise about police in a negative role. Don't you think? That lady talking about this incident in her workplace, in her friend circle, in her family circle, don't you think it has tarnished the image of police at least among 500 to 1,000 people? So this is the kind of issue that is preventing women from coming out and making a complaint or trusting the authorities. And sometimes what happens is the victim is financially dependent on the accused. How many of you agree with that? Very few, but it is actually true. In most of the cases that I encounter on a daily basis, We see that there is extreme domestic violence. We see that there is extreme harassment. If it is not physical, it will be mental. And if it is not mental, it is going to be financial. These are the reasons why women do not come forward easily to make a petition and easily to get into a police related case. So what is the solution? Can you imagine how many petitions of domestic violence are received in a year in only Hyderabad district? Any wild guess? Anybody? No, not in lakhs. That is cyber crimes in lakhs. Cyber crimes are in lakhs. I'm talking exclusively about domestic violence. We received last year as Women Safety Wing DCP, we received 6,000 petitions. And in almost 50% of them, the woman is a working woman. Understand the magnanimity of this number, and also understand that most of them are working women. Sometimes what happens is, most of these cases go unreported, or they do not want to take action because they are not finding it helpful in any way. The result is not given to them. This is where I will bring in Margadarshak into picture. This is the reason behind bringing up such a program where community leaders, community volunteers, community participants will be trained to bring up such issues that are going unreported, and also to guide these victims in every angle, whether it could be, as I said, financially dependent, it could be some kind of financial advice, it could be some advice related to criminal action against the accused, especially when there is bodily hurt, etc. Or it could be through counseling, through Bharosa and CDW centers. These are the things that we are going to expose to this cohort of Margadarshaks, and we are going to empower you to empower every other victim. This is a very important role that you are going to play. It is not going to be just a middle person or a middle man or a middle woman for that matter. It is going to be empowering the victim through your empowerment. And I would really appreciate Khyati ji for taking so much interest in designing the curriculum of the entire Margadarshak program. We have designed it in such a way that no woman will be left unnoticed during this Margadarshak's intervention. For example, we are also planning to teach the Margadarshaks how to identify a victim and also how to identify an accused. We are also going to empower you all in legal matters, in understanding how law is protective of victims, whether it is under the POSH Act, whether it is under the Dowry Prohibition Act, whether it is under the BNS related harassment of women, or whether it is under the IT Act, that is cyberbullying, cyber stalking and unknown people blackmailing. This brings to me a practical aspect of SHE teams. Can you all guess how many people must have been red-handedly caught committing stalking or sexual harassment to women in public spaces? Can you imagine? No, not 10,000. I am much lesser than that number. It's last 1 year, we have received 3,200 cases of red-handed accused. All of them were behaving bad in public, against a victim woman, targeting a victim woman, maybe because she was wearing a different kind of clothes, maybe because she was accessible to him, and maybe because he thought nobody was watching him. SHE teams was there, was watching them, recording them, bringing them to justice. And these cases are also tried by a separate court, that is the morning court, wherein they are awarded jail also, not only fine, but also 1 to 7 days of jail to the accused. Why am I saying this? Why am I talking about red-handed cases is because if a person can do it so openly, imagine in closed spaces, imagine at workplace, imagine at college, imagine at a school, how many such incidents are likely to occur. So this is the magnitude of cases that happens in Hyderabad City Police. I would also like to add one point about the community volunteers. Once you become Margadarshak, you not only help the victim and bring the accused to justice, but also you become the intelligence network of police. Can you believe that? All of you become the eyes and ears of police department, right? However, I would also put a check here. What a Margadarshak can do is to guide in the right path, showing the ways and the solutions that are available to a victim, and nothing more than that. However, you can as well raise whatever concerns you are facing while implementing Margadarshak program to the mentors that are going to be allotted to you. And that is where, as soon as you put in that information to our mentors, that is where it becomes intelligence. The quality of that information becomes intelligence, because it will in future be used to act upon to prevent crimes in that particular place. For example, SHE teams works in such a way that the moment we catch hold of a red-handed victim, or the moment we receive any kind of complaint from victims regarding blackmailing, harassment, etc., we map that case. We make sure that area is immediately brought under the hotspot, and that area surveillance is conducted regularly, and the accused himself is also brought under the scrutiny as a offender for the first time, or is he a repeat offender? If he goes, for example, if this happens in an organization, what currently that we are doing is, we are sending a letter to the head of the organization, mailing them the details of the case that he is involved, and warning them that in future, if he repeats any of this, he will definitely be booked under an FIR. This is the kind of proactive policing that is being done by us, and you, by giving the information, can become part of this network. A safer community doesn't happen by chance. It happens when ordinary people become extraordinary and choose to care, to act, and to stand up for each other. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.